Hi there guys, Tom Quayle here, back for Sound Effects Premiere in Ormskirk. This time I'm looking at this fabulous Roland JC-40 amplifier. I'm also, for this particular demo, using this fantastic Knaggs Tier 3, and this is the Kenai model. Available at Sound Effects Premiere, obviously, really great guitar. So, the Roland JC-40, now this is basically a modern version of the classic jazz chorus amp, the JC-120, which was a big, heavy stereo amplifier. Sounded fantastic, classic kind of tones, had the stereo feature, so it had stereo chorus, the dimension effect as it's known by Roland. And this is basically a smaller version, a 40 watt version, but again, just like the original, true stereo operation, stereo inputs, stereo chorus, the vibratos on there as well, with some modern features that really bring the line up to date for kind of modern guitar players, but retain that classic clean tone that we all know and love, and of course that stereo chorus. So the amplifier itself, if we have a look at the front panel here, we've got proper stereo input. So if you're running stereo effects, you're running an amp modeler, if you're running any kind of digital unit that requires true stereo operation, this cab is wired with two 10-watt speakers, two 10-inch speakers, I should say, it's 40 watts, two 10-inch speakers that allow you true stereo operation. So you could plug your digital modeler into the front of this, and because it's a solid state amp, there's no tubes in here, and because of the way the speakers are voiced, it's just going to sound absolutely fantastic. So it works really well for that. Now, obviously, because of the way we're recording this now, I'm using the line out, but we're not using that in stereo. We've got a mono line out and we're using a single mic as well, so you're hearing both things together. You're not hearing it in stereo, but trust me, it's running in stereo. But we've just got a mono guitar going in the front anyway, so stereo is not so important here. But for stereo users, fantastic solution. So we've got the two inputs. We then have a bright switch, which I'll demonstrate shortly. Volume, treble, middle and bass, so 3-band EQ, really powerful and musical EQ. We've then got distortion. Now, previously, the distortions in the JC series have been okay, let's put it that way. This one sounds fantastic. It's voiced really well for kind of modern players. It's got much less kind of harsh kind of tone, and again, I'll demonstrate that for you later. We've then got the reverb here, digital reverb, and then we've got the fabled chorus section, and vibrato, I should say. So we've got the speed, depth, and then the vibrato and chorus control. And our options here are vibrato, off, manual for manually controlling the speed and the depth, and then basically like a fixed rate for like the Roland programmed rate. On the back, we've got a stereo effects loop, which is very unusual to have a stereo effects loop on there. You can use to have stereo inputs. So stereo effects loop that can be run in parallel or series. And we've also got line outs, so stereo line out. There's a headphone socket out, and then extension via the line out for the speakers. And then we've got Footswitch jacks in there as well for turning on the chorus, switching on the distortion, so on and so forth. So really fully featured. So let's have a listen to how it sounds. I'm going to use, as I say, this Knaggs Kenai guitar, and we're going to start with the neck pickup, which is a humbucker in this case. I'm just going to let you hear the clean tone. What I'm going to do, just for the sake of keeping things really simple, is just set all the EQ controls as flat as possible, and we get this tone. So the first thing I notice about that tone is it's super punchy in the room, really good attack, and it really throws the sound forwards. It's really impressive in that respect. So what we'll do is we'll just check out, because the volume control is literally on this amp just for volume. This amp is not designed to break up massively like a tube amp when you turn it up. It's got tons and tons of clean headroom, all those 40 watts basically, and this is a very loud amp. The volume's almost all the way down now, and it's really quite loud in the room, so you've got tons of headroom here. So let's play with the EQ controls. Let's set that treble back to 12 o'clock, and what we'll do now is we'll just back that off, and then we'll raise it all the way up again. So this is the treble off, nothing else has been changed, and I'm still using the neck pickup on this guitar. Okay, now let's raise that treble up, and we get this. Okay, Now, let's do the same with the mids, let you hear how the mids react. And then backed off. And then the same with the bass. Roll all the way out. So pretty impressive, really wide range of EQ settings available here. You can really shape the tone, and that's going to be very useful if, again, you're using digital modeling amps or digital effects in the front end of the amplifier in stereo. You can really shape that tone for different venues. Okay, so let's check out the reverb. Let's bring the reverb up. So we already had reverb in. In fact, let's take it all the way out to start with so we know what we're dealing with. Okay, then we bring the reverb in, about halfway up, so quite a big reverb. Okay, and then all the way up just to give you the length of the tail. So it sounds really nice, very musical. Okay, so while we're on the clean sound, I'm going to back the reverb off and go over to the chorus section, because we don't really want to combine this too much with the overdrive. We'll do that last, or the distortion. So let's switch the vibrato on first and have a listen to how that sounds, and the speed and depth are at about 12 o'clock. So it's almost sort of like a rotary speaker kind of sound. So perfect for that kind of... Really, really nice sound. Now you can obviously change the speed. Okay. And then the depth as well to make it slightly more musical. And obviously what you're not getting is that that's in stereo and it's kind of vibing between the two speakers, which is a really nice sound. So for really kind of crazy sounds. So if we now move over to the manual chorus mode, we get this. And that's more like the dimension sound that Roland do, very classic thick chorus. And we can again change the depth and the speed to fit with the musical scenario we're in. So very lush, very pretty chorus. Now the fixed mode basically gives us a fixed rate chorus that sounds like this. Notice there that our depth and speed don't do anything as we move around. That's Roland's sort of factory fixed setting, if you like. And then we switch back to the manual. And the controls start working again. Okay, so that's kind of useful to have that fixed setting. And again, you can switch that with the foot switch. Now the distortion. Okay, so let's take the chorus out. We don't want the chorus and the overdrive. I'm going to switch down to the bridge position on this guitar. Clean tone sounds like this. Okay, let's bring the overdrive in, and there's no click on this like there used to be on the old amps. It doesn't click in, so much smoother control. So with a lower gain setting, let's bring the treble down because this is quite a high frequency kind of heavy guitar, and we get this with a lower kind of overdrive setting distortion. So I have to watch my volume here. Okay, now if we bring the gain up further, we're about 3/4 of the way up now, we get this. A little bit of feedback going on at the end as well, it kind of harmonically blooms in a pleasing way. Okay, now, if we go all the way up, and again, as I'm going up, basically what I would do with this amp is I'll back the treble off, just to kind of smooth out the sound. That's a personal preference of mine for kind of lead tones, and we get this. So a much more modern sounding drive section there. And again, it's very responsive, tons of sustain, you know, sounds great. And obviously with that EQ section, you can really tailor that to any kind of overdrive sound that you like, basically. So having that on there with that kind of modern voicing is a really good bonus for this particular amplifier. So that's the Roland Jazz Chorus 40 or JC-40. Very, very affordable, very portable. It's much lighter than the older amplifiers. Great sounding, true stereo combo. So check it out on Sound Effects Premiere in Ormskirk, and also check out the Knaggs Kenai, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers.